What is going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all so much. Happy new moon in Scorpio. Today is the day. This probably starts the biggest cycle of transformation in a lunation that we could possibly ask for. This is kicking off sort of the energy of the Pluto return for the United States, as Pluto is the dispositor of this lunation energy, and it's in direct motion, and it's not going to stop till 28 degrees. And before it gets to that 28 degree mark, it will hit 27, which is where United States Pluto is. So we're starting to really see where the transformation is going. And of course, let's just pull up the chart and get going. It is in exact opposition to Uranus at 12 degrees. And 12 degrees is, I like that. And even Mars is at 3 degrees. So there's a lot of 3 energy, which is Jupiter. There is expansion. It's expansion through alchemical metamorphosis, expansion through transformation, through a revolutionary transformation with the opposition to Uranus. We're it can feel, I feel like this lunation is going to feel a little dark. You know, that kind of is like what comes up in this energy and what it feels like. But this is getting out of the fear so that we can bring light and really, bring our light to the table. If we look at Uranus and Taurus, this is trying to reinvent our value, our relationship to ourself, our relationship and our connections to others in physical form. And of course, Scorpio is the sign of dealing with merger and commitment. And I think this is where we're also reevaluating and recommitting to our deepest passions, to our deepest connections. Saturn is so important in this. It's going to be in T-square, and it's really squaring the midpoint of the Sun and Mars. So yeah, the dedication to your highest form. Saturn is our form. So it's our teeth, it's our bones, right? It's this physical substance that kind of holds things together. Scorpio's the glue. So there's a glue that's holding everything together, that's trying to come into manifest form. But you have to have like the guts and the courage to move towards it, to move towards the revolution that can take place in your life in a lot of ways. And it's really through having to feel vulnerable with Scorpio, having to feel like maybe over this next lunation, there is a sense of powerlessness. There is a sense of what the hell is going on? Why is it like this? And it's through these times in our life that we have the most growth. And this is expedited growth, especially in opposition to Uranus. Uranus is trying to take our physical form higher and to the next level. And so much of that can come in, but we have to do both. We have to do the physical and we have to do the emotional. We have to know what we really want, what we're really into, what the greatest connections are. And we can open up so many doors. And there's abundance here, and there is this growth. And it's important right now to trust yourself so much that I would say that nobody, feels abandoned or like they were left behind, maybe by God, maybe by lovers, friends, relationships. This is a huge shedding lunation. We're shedding an old skin. We're coming into a new skin, and it's a higher frequency of our physical form that's connecting us to destiny, that's connecting us to this purpose. And it's going to show up in our personal lives in many, many different ways. But we have to be willing to go through this transformative process. And that's what this lunation is going to bring up. And it's a big deal. And it's not subtle. It's electric. And it's intense. And it's going to bring the light, though. That's the thing. It's like going to look the darkest. But guess what comes when it gets the darkest? The light comes. And it gets the brightest. So it's important to remember that. It has such an intense energy, but there is this underlying current of like really positive things, and you have to really believe and trust yourself and have people in your corner that you can trust too. And if the trust isn't there, then it's not there. It's not it. It's not going to hold in this physical form. It's not going to go higher. It's not going to go farther. And even Jupiter is really in square to this within a 10-degree orb, and Jupiter's a big planet. So there is so much about these passions that can blow up for our future right now, but we have to be willing to not have it all figured out. We have to be willing to keep kind of experimenting in our life by believing in ourselves and believing in humanity and believing that there is positivity out there in the future. Even if things don't maybe look like it, they might actually show up in manifest form if you believe enough. So this is really a believing lunation, and it's about believing in the most radical transformation that you can make within yourself that will reflect in physical form, as we do kind of have this full Uranus energy. You know, this is where we're bringing that electricity into life, but it's got to be done from within. You have to know it deep down. You have to feel it. And if you do, you're going to see aspects in life show up, and you're going to attract that in. And that's the most important part, is believing in the deepest part of yourself and not feeling too vulnerable, even though fears of vulnerability can come up in this cycle. You know, fears of trust can come up. So we have to learn to be vulnerable, love ourselves, and be vulnerable with others and trust others. And I think that that's really the biggest thing, because we look at these squares to Aquarius, that is people energy, that is, we're all connected, we're all together in this journey, we're all special, we're all unique. And even the opposition to Uranus is very important. So it's a very Plutonian and Uranian new moon and lunation that's taking place. And even just having this lunation, the dispositor is Pluto. And like I said, it's not stopping until it gets to America's Pluto. So it's really lighting up this manipulation of power in a lot of ways. We almost have to expect the unexpected just with an opposition to Uranus. Like, oh my gosh, like this is showing up, like, whoa. But with Pluto here, it's deeper, and it's Pluto in Capricorn. So it's definitely bringing up governments. It's bringing up overreaches of power, overreaches of control that are going to try and make you feel most vulnerable. And we're only vulnerable if we give that up, if we're not having this fearlessness with Mars here in Scorpio, trying to just really penetrate fearlessly into all desires that you are passionate about, no matter what goes on outside of you. Really acting intuitively, acting for what's going to bring this metamorphosis into manifest. And it's not, Mars in Scorpio won't stop until it gets it. So that's where we can't give up. We can't give up on ourselves. We can't give up on our deepest passions right now. Even if radical shifts take place, we have to be willing to transform these things. This is a revolutionary transformation that's taking place in our lives. But it's ultimately to have us turn into that butterfly. It's to have us break out of this cocoon. And I believe that we do break out of this cocoon from this lunation, because so much is going to get exposed. And even with Mercury on the brink of Libra, spending its final day in there, done with the square to Pluto, done with its extended stay in Libra, we know what's just in our life. And now it's time to get into the bottom of the barrel and make it happen for what is, and to connect to that energy. And we're right on the brink of just, it's going to feel like, has like gangster energy to me. I'll be honest. Like, we just got to get into it and be a gangster about what we want and what we desire, and kind of push the envelope so that we can stay in our power when maybe there's aspects in life that are going to show up that probably make every one of us in some way or another feel an irrational sense of powerlessness. And that's just to help us break through. So the squares to Saturn to me are like, we are going to have to break through some serious blocks that are going to be based around fear, around people, government, connection, passion, intimacy. And we got to get these things figured out. And I do ultimately believe that by the time the eclipse comes in Taurus for that full moon lunar eclipse, because this lunation kicks off, I mean, this new moon is kicking off the eclipse season. I do believe that by that that lunar eclipse, we have a lot figured out about our security and our needs and how we're going to attract these things in. So we're shedding skin pretty intensely for these next 2 weeks. I think the 2 weeks prior, we really start to rise up and we really start to have a good understanding of what can expand and where we need to be kind of like savage, in a little bit, like always love, like, that's what I base this around. It is like the love and the connectedness and the spirituality, but this is a pretty like intense warrior kind of time, I feel. And this new moon is kind of gonna test us. Are we willing to get that deep grit and keep pushing and keep metamorphosizing and alchemizing our reality for the greatest passions? And Venus is spending its final day at 29 of Sagittarius. So Venus is coming into Capricorn. Venus is going to be in Capricorn till March, guys. This is no joke. Venus is going to be, get used to Venus in Capricorn. We're going to be feeling it for a long time. It's going to meet with Mars again because of the retrograde. So we get another Mars-Venus conjunction. It's going to enter shadow at 11 degrees of Capricorn, and it's going to head up to 26, and it's going to cross over Pluto, station, conjunct Pluto, and go into retrograde. So we really have to pay attention to money. We really have to pay attention to our values, because the structure of values, the financial institution of values, and especially, I'll be honest, I pulled up some price charts of the dollar currency index, and I put a post on Instagram. The last time that the dollar cost index, the DXY, was at its like lowest was with a Venus retrograde 8 years ago in Capricorn. This time Pluto's there. This time we're having eclipses coming in the financial axis of Taurus and Scorpio, and we have a Pluto return of the United States with this Venus. And the nodes are shifting into the financial axis of Taurus and Scorpio. We're seeing our physical form and values, they're just getting completely transformed. And this is transforming how we relate to our physical world and to our ambitions. And it's also showing how we relate to others. We are coming into some huge astrology, some huge times. And this is the lunation, I believe, that takes us there. This is where the greatest transformation comes. And it could be the transformation of inner power for many people, where I think a lot of people are ready for the intensity and kind of ready to step up. And some people aren't really paying attention, or they, don't really care. And this is that lunation that kind of sneaks up on people and is like, what just happened? It's very intense. But it's taking us to places we've never been before. And ultimately, it's going to show us that if we have that grit and if we have that determination within ourselves emotionally, and we can fixate and move powerfully for ourselves and for the people we love and our connections, and ultimately what is most important to us, that we got this. So Venus here, 29 degrees, edgy. Mercury, 28, coming to 29 today, edgy. Coming into some edgy energy. But ultimately, again, we can really believe things are happening. Venus is very interesting right now too. I was watching David talk, and I wasn't paying attention to the declinations, but Venus is way up there. I think Venus was at 29, way down there, south in declination, which means that Venus is out of bounds. 23, 24 is as far as the ecliptic goes. So Gemini and Sag, you get out of bounds. It always happens that way. If you have a Gemini moon, for instance, you're probably 26, 27 north, and your moon's out of bounds. And Gemini moon people can tend to be a little out of bounds. If you've ever known any Gemini moon individuals, they are very unique and it's very creative. So there is this level of creative energy with Venus here, but it's also almost like Venus is so far down into this southern part of the ecliptic that we can feel low within our own confidence, within our values, or within even just believing in ourselves and having this open mindset about where things are going. So it's definitely, Venus is going through it here, and it did make some hard aspects, but at the same time, it is in sextile with Mercury as they come into these ingresses tomorrow. Like there is a lot of positivity if we're relating to what is just and beautiful in our lives, and to where this metamorphosis is going to go. And we want to try to not be paranoid. We want to try to not be fearful. We're definitely merging with the greatest relationships right now. And I think that these relationships are very destined. So whatever connections are coming in and feeling on that vibration, on that path with you, it's very important. And then there's ones that might not be. And that's part of Scorpio too, endings, beginnings. And it's secrets too. You know, people forget Scorpio's about secrets. It's hidden. It's the occult. So there's a lot of hidden stuff that is just ready to be discovered, because that's what happens is we shine a light. So there's this great light. Prometheus, the light bringer, Uranus, is shining a light on all these secrets. And especially with Pluto dispositing and all the aspects there, like we're about to see some shit go down. Like this is the month, this is the activation of a huge transformation that the collective is going through. So very powerful astrology, very powerful lunation, but it's also a lunation that can make us feel powerless, and that can be very difficult, and we can feel very manipulated. So this is where, again, starting this lunation, like how can you draw the healthiest boundaries for yourself of what keeps you feeling secure deep within yourself, and what can help you attract and bring that in, and what can help you connect to positive energy, as we are going to need to trust each other. We are going to need to merge with people. We can't do it all alone. And this is one of those times where it might feel like we have to just do it all alone. We don't. We don't have to do it alone. People are a gift. People are here to help us and to bring form to whatever this transformation and mutation is coming for us. So it's a huge energy, and it's psychological too. So we got to keep our psyche strong. We got to remember our magic with a K, not the imitation kind with just a C, but CK. We got to remember our magic and how we can alchemize by really believing in our soul's essence and power to merge with a life that is most destined and most high. As we are accelerating and trying to go higher, this is where we all get kind of the test. Do you really trust that you can move higher right now, or are we going to give up? And I don't want to say necessarily today feels like that, but as I am in this and looking at where the astrology is going and doing this horoscope, it's like that energy's out there. And we got to have each other's back too, you know, for everybody that's in spiritual communities or family, friends, you know, that you know, we have each other's back. Like this is where we're really going to have to show that we do. And not like the Leo King said in one of his talks last year, I think it was at the Conscious Life Expo, like we can't leave our brothers and sisters behind. This is where we do have to like step up for the ones that have our back, step up for the ones that are most true and authentic, just as you are with yourself. We're going to have to be there for people as well. Sending you all my love and best. What a time to be alive. What a horoscope. What a lunation. Coming into eclipse season. Coming into a Pluto return. Coming into nodes shifting. And a south node in Scorpio. And there's nothing fun about a south node in Scorpio. I'll be honest with you. We'll get there when we get there, though. Important time to transform. This is where you can bring the most electric of passionate energy into your life, but you can also be too scared to make the change, too scared to accept that you're transforming and moving higher. And we can't be afraid of being a revolutionary for ourselves and our communities and our lives right now. That's how we're going to move higher. That's how we're going to connect in a time where it's going to feel pretty dark and disconnected, but we got this. I love you all very much. Card for this is Page of Pentacles in reverse. There's no surety in physical reality right now. and we don't have it all figured out. We got to keep youthful energy. We don't want to, shy away from truths that are showing up in physical life. We don't want to shy away from, or just not pay attention to money too. I think money is a huge aspect to watch. I think if you watch the money, you'll get a good idea of where manipulation and power is trying to move. And we got to be in it. It's kind of a psychological war that we really just entered, and we've already been in one, but that just came in and it really ramps up. So I think we need to pay attention to money. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about money, but we got to pay attention to that. That energy is going to be a tell. And we need to be curious, and we'll see. Knight of Cups in reverse. Again, have to be that emotional warrior, have to be that Mars in Scorpio, and really move instinctually and emotionally intelligently for what's going to give us the buried treasure. And there's buried treasure out there. There's amazing things that can take place, but if we're going to feel like we're not strong enough inside, how are we ever going to make the changes to manifest what we really do desire? And the overall for this is the World card. Yeah, we're completing a major cycle of human growth and evolution, and we're stepping into this new one, and we're metamorphosizing that and alchemizing it. This just feels like a time when the whole world starts to really feel the shift and the changes that are taking place, and it's not time to go backwards, it's time to move forwards. And that's also what the Aquarius energy, Saturn and Jupiter, are trying to show us. Like, we got to progress forward. We got to keep going and keep figuring things out. The only way to make change is to change. And the only way to be, I guess, most true in a lot of ways to yourself is to be true. It's intense times, intense horoscope. Cycles are changing. The world can feel like it's changing, and where that goes, I don't know. I'm gonna be here with you, and we're gonna get through whatever shows up. But it's happening, and I would say that the World card, especially coming out, is saying that we've reached the end, and it's all over now. It's all about the new. So whatever that means, that's what this lunation really does feel like it's about, is stepping into the power of the new cycle and taking with you from the old cycle what made you powerful, but leaving the vulnerabilities and the stuff and the stories, even with a South Node that's finishing up in Sagittarius, the stories from the past that limit you, those have to be destroyed. Scorpio is destruction too. So we're destroying limiting things that keep us from experiencing the best physical form and having the emotional confidence that we really desire to keep pushing so that we can hold our highest form. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday. Happy new moon. Welcome to this cycle, this chapter of life. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to see how it goes. We're all in this together. I love you very much. I'll catch you next time. Peace.